back to my channel. This is part 2 of why I quit stupol, so if you haven't seen the first video in the series, I will link that in the description. So as you can tell, that's not in the title, and the title is something to do with Barbie, so we're gonna get right into that. So very recently, a series of rants appeared on this page called USU Rants, which, as I mentioned in part 1, is an anonymous confession or rant page to do with the University of Sydney. And so all of a sudden, there were just all these rants, which were sort of like, how do I put this? They were directed towards me, but because rants has to be anonymous, whoever wrote the initial rants just gave me a nickname called USU Barbie because I'm very involved in clubs and things around campus, so USU, and Barbie because obviously I'm blonde. So some of the first few ones were a little weird, and they were just very critical of things that were like entirely exaggerated or things that just really didn't make sense. I won't read all of the rants this time because I feel like that took a lot of time in the last video. I'll maybe either link them or make another receipt stock, but you can see for yourself. So anyhow, I think a few rants, I'm not even sure if they were all from the same person or from different people. Based on, like, you know, the rant itself, obviously the person who made them didn't have the best intentions towards me, and I think that could have been motivated by me being a very public person around campus and me very obviously spending money and maybe talking about some controversial topics in my last two videos. So they were like, just, I think that sort of got the ball rolling, and then suddenly there were all these rants about USU Barbie, which is like me, and it's just been super crazy. I just didn't think that would happen, but I saw the chance and I took it, and I'm like, this is great publicity because first of all, the Barbie movie just came out, everyone's talking about that, and two, everyone's also talking about like me in relation to Barbie on USU Rants, and I'm like, okay, in my case, most publicity is good publicity, especially because I don't have, like, you know, scandals where I'm caught doing something like super bad, because again, I don't do that stuff. And so I think that's sort of how it came to be. I'm not too bothered by it. I did just even make a graphic just for promotion because I'm sure people would have heard something about this and maybe that'll help me get more views and like more publicity for my YouTube and Instagram. So that's the first part of the title. This next part has to sort of do with all of the rants I've been mentioning, is that this year, as you all know, I started doing law, but pretty much I was, you know, I'm a very friendly person, very outgoing, and just, I'm always trying to engage with other people and all that, right? And I like to help others, again, from the goodness of my heart, believe it or not. And so in the beginning, I was very friendly, very open, and I was trying to create a, like, you know, wholesome and maybe less toxic community, which ended up backfiring on me, actually. So what I did in the beginning, I just talked to everyone, I made myself known because I had been here for a while, right? So I figured there were a lot of new international students, and that, you know, I let everyone know, hey, if you guys need any advice or any tips, because I know that a lot of women or international students are regularly exploited, and we're still like quite young and in our 20s, so I thought, okay, that still happens to people our age, and I would just want to make sure that, you know, everyone knows that they have someone they can talk to, or even they could come to me for advice, because I do fairly well in terms of academics as well. So I was trying to create a, you know, just a nice environment, and like I had initially heard that law could be very competitive, maybe a bit like toxic, and in terms of that, I had expected maybe people, they would be uptight, they would be rude, they would be very cliquey or exclusive, but what I didn't anticipate was that people, or rather 15 to 20, maybe even more people would start stalking me. And like, this was solely, not even because I was doing student politics, but solely because I was so nice in the beginning, and I think a lot of people thought of that as an opportunity to put someone down, and not even just do that, like just do some very extremely inappropriate actions. And clearly these people, they have their own issues, and there has to be something going on in order for someone to do that. I started noticing some of my classmates acting a bit weird. At first it started out as some of my classmates making passive-aggressive commentary in this group chat that I had initially created with most of the members of our cohort, and I thought that would be a great way for everyone to connect with one another and maybe help each other out. And so people would make like passive-aggressive remarks towards me, and like, I'll admit, like in the beginning, I was a little goofy. I was just, you know, making jokes about myself, to be clear, like not about anything like offensive or towards anyone. For example, one of the jokes, I put a sandwich on my laptop because I was trying to sneak it in the library, and I just thought that was very funny, and I put that as the group chat picture. And eventually someone told me, hey Kay, could you please stop like messing around, and we're trying to, you know, be serious and spamming the chat, and like, okay, that's a fair and valid request, right? So I did, and then, but even when I did stop, people would still say passive aggressive things towards me, like such as if I asked, oh, what room, or like just things relevant to law, and I stopped joking entirely, right? And so it started with that, and then I noticed some really weird things going on in class where people would purposely walk near me and like talk very loudly, and you could tell, right, like I'm not dumb, where they would say, hey, like, oh, did you see what insert name of K's friend did? And they would purposely just say really weird things while they were near me, and then, you know, but then suddenly the volume of the tones would go back down when they walked away. People would do that in class. People would like send weird things to the whiteboard, where sometimes, you know how you scan a QR code to put in an answer during a lesson, so people would put in like exact quotes that I would say in the group chat as the answers, and people were calling me like goofy when they were doing this in class. So I don't understand the logic there, but they would do that, and okay, that's like just really annoying, but that's fine. People would also take pictures, but again, that's normal in this day and age apparently. And alright, but where I sort of drew the line, this really crazy girl, she was talking with someone else in the main group chat, and at the very end, like, they were just talking about grades. It wasn't exactly relevant to everyone else, just to them, and like, that's fine, right? I have nothing against people making any topic discussion in the chat. It was just other people who didn't like that. And so they were talking about grades. This girl was like talking about worrying about getting her marks back or something like that, I don't even remember. And like at the very end, she says, hey, sorry for spamming the chat. And so I make a reply, and I'm like, oh, that's okay, it's only spam if it's me, lol. And I'll admit, like, maybe it sounded a bit passive aggressive through text, but so she said that, and I said, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean it like that, it's just that so and so has been happening and going on, and I listed off the things, you know, people were directing towards me. And this girl, she starts going off at me in the group chat. She says, hey, I understand that you're being like bullied or whatever, but that doesn't give you the right to do, and like, this is just a very brief summary of the paragraphs upon paragraphs she sends of things I allegedly did, where she said I was making it a toxic and hostile environment, I was doing things that weren't okay, I was directing my anger towards others. And keep in mind, this is all from this one interaction that we had where I said, oh, it's only spam if it's me, lol, this one liner, this one joke, which I already apologized for, right? So she said that, she said that, oh, like, it sounds like you're on the quest for some truth, and just, which is already insane at this point. And she says, you've been, you know, doing all these things that aren't okay, there's been multiple times this has happened. And I'm like, okay, girl, I'm gonna stop you right there, because like, my one joke can, like, you cannot use all of that to describe my one joke. And she had claimed there were other examples, right? So I said, hey, what are these other examples? And she said, oh, well, it's not my job to educate you. So I say, okay, but you already wrote all these paragraphs. Surely, you know, if there were genuine things I did, you can let me know. Besides, you know, what, like the joke I made just now. And then this girl, she's like, oh, so an example is the joke that you made just now. And I'm like, no, but besides that, what are other specific things that I have done that are inappropriate? Because I know I have not done like anything like that. And then she leaves the chat. So, yeah, I suppose all these, you know, imaginary things of, you know, me doing things that are hostile or not okay, it just suddenly didn't happen anymore once she had to list them out. So, and I was talking with another like staff member about this, because obviously at this point I'm like, okay, she's now accusing me of doing all these things, and this sort of thing can like spiral into like even like any like just really bad allegations eventually. I should tell someone. So I told like an undisclosed staff member, that's just what I'm going to call them. And the staff member was skeptical initially, because they thought, okay, maybe I had some drama with this girl or something was going on. But no, this girl I had talked to one time in a tutorial by introducing myself. And like we just shot the breeze, and looking back, this was sort of a red flag where I said, oh yeah, I'm that person from the group chat, you know, okay. And they gave me this really weird look that like, where I just knew at that moment, okay, she's definitely heard of me. And she started saying all this stuff like, oh no, like, I'm not in any of these like side chats, which, oh, that was another thing I forgot to mention, where the group of like 15 to 20 people, they made a group chat just specifically to talk about me and other international students. And so she was just like, all I said was, hey, I'm Kay, you know, from the main group chat. And she's like, oh yeah, you're Kay, oh my gosh, that wasn't like me, or and that was like so and so. And like that was the weird response, right? Because I figured she just maybe heard of me from the main group chat or something. And so yeah, I feel like she's definitely been following and keeping up with me for a while based on these two interactions. It's all like, this is all just so juvenile and crazy, but I have no words for it. And I'm not going to I'm just going to end the story by saying there's that. I'm not going to say if I'm even still at USU or where I am now, because clearly a lot of these people, like, there's being snarky and then there's stalking someone, and these people clearly have a lot of issues and maybe are mentally unwell, and I just don't want them to come find me in real life, because clearly if someone can just make all of those accusations in a group chat in front of like dozens of people, then they're, you don't know what they're going to do. So that's how I got some. I think it was more specifically her. Like, she just, other people, they made like, jabs at me, like maybe one or two texts. And there was this one guy, he was like such a racism apologist, where I said, hey guys, people are being racist towards me, because again, obviously I think that me being an international student played a factor into this. In the side group chat, there were only other international students being talked about. So I said, hey guys, I'm going to make my friend here, this person, admin of this chat because of this. And like, I'm saying, like, people are being racist, right? And that I'm sick of dealing with this. And this racist apologist guy's first response is, oh, maybe you should keep the group chat relevant. And if that's, your response to someone saying that they've experienced racism, and of course, he was white. I just had to say that. That's always a very relevant factor to these experiences. But I think, if that's your response to someone saying that they're having, racist people doing that to them, then I think that says a lot about a person rather than me apparently spamming. So yeah, that is a very crazy story, and I like, because of this, obviously some of these people, they're gonna keep watching and following, stalking, just to look at my next move. So there will probably be no more law updates until I'm well out of the scene, or maybe out of this country. I don't know. There's just like, that's about it. And lastly, one of the main reasons why I filmed the last stupol video in this one is because I'm starting my own company, where this YouTube channel and my Instagram, which were created long ago and I just revived like recently, this is going to be a part of my company, where we are essentially a brand with different student ambassadors, me being the main one of course, that promotes different types of student media and local businesses. The full spiel and everything and what KPW Media does will be out very soon. Our launch is being pushed back a bit because I've been dealing with all of this obviously, so we're a bit behind schedule. A big thank you to my team as well. Without my friends and everyone there, I don't think this would be possible. I'm really grateful to everyone for supporting me throughout all of this. Essentially, this was all one big ad. All in all, be sure to subscribe here for more videos like this. I probably won't be doing any more overly dramatic ones, as that's not really what this company is about, but there will be some on student life, clubs, and different student tips. So if you want to see some of that, and of course promotions for discounts of local businesses, be sure to subscribe here, and most of the discounts and all that and special deals will be on the Instagram. So yeah, that's all for now, and if you like this video, of course be sure to like and subscribe. I just had to do that. It's such a classic YouTube thing.